thought about President Kennedy. Dallas, 1963. Bobby Kennedy, Los Angeles, 1968. Ted Kennedy, Chappaquiddick, 1969. All of these events were entwined with my childhood, all of it my story, just as it is every American's. And there she was, standing in front of me, a woman who had actually been there, who knew it all, who had lived it. Go ahead, I thought, my ever-curious mind kicking in for an instant. Ask her something about it. Ask her about anything. But there was something about her, and about that time with her, that made the idea of asking even a single probing question about her life seem inappropriate. She was so charming, so warm and friendly, so accessible. She was so everyday in her humanity that only the most callous person would ever dream of asking her a personal question that might revive any trauma, any pain. I think it was on that day as I spoke to Jackie that I began to understand a true secret to the Kennedys' enduring celebrity. There is no wall. True, on the national stage these people are and would always be ferociously private, but out in the real world, many of them are just as approachable as anyone else you might meet in an elevator. For her part, Jackie, an editor whose office didn't even have windows, certainly wasn't living as though she were larger than life, like most celebrities do, in an ivory tower detached from the everyday. She was, to put it simply, a very nice lady, and in many ways just like the rest of us. She'd had her ups and downs in life. She'd made the best of the cards she'd been dealt, and now, widowed twice, she was in New York City, starting over at a job that paid her just $200 a week, writing a new chapter of her own story. Not for the sake of the public or for the history books, or for a young writer she might happen to meet in an elevator on the way to work. She was doing it for herself, living her life despite her worldwide fame. That was her secret, and I have come to believe one of the secrets of her entire family of Kennedys. Though celebrated, they are not really celebrities. At the risk of seeming reductive of such iconic figures who have often appeared larger than life, in many ways they are simply people who have been through tough times and have somehow learned, as a family, to get on with the business of living, all the while maintaining a determined optimism. Certainly, when I first met Senator Ted Kennedy and his wife Victoria Reggie in October 1996 at a symposium on the legacy of the Kennedy women at the John F. Kennedy Library in Boston, I was struck by his congenial, everyman attitude. Yes, we have had some hard knocks, he told me in what was obviously a great understatement, but we as a family have survived because we have heart, and heart matters. That evening, I also met and had the opportunity to ask questions of three of Ethel's daughters, Rory, Carrie, and Kathleen. What most stands out in my mind about them all these years later is their obvious closeness. It was almost like talking to one woman, the way they began and finished each other's sentences. It's difficult when your most private moments are also your most public moments, Carrie told me when speaking of the tragedies the family has faced. But it's interesting, too, because we have never really felt alone in any of it. We have always felt at one with the American public, and I think they have felt the same dynamic with us. With the passing of the years, I would also meet John Kennedy Jr. several times, and without fail, be impressed not only by his accessible nature, but also his hopeful outlook on life. While we Kennedys as a family have certainly known death, he told me at the press conference to announce the publication of his own magazine, George, we choose to focus on life, and I guess that's how we deal with death. Doubtless, the Kennedy mystique really took hold of this country when President John Fitzgerald Kennedy was brutally assassinated in November 1963. It was such a shock that this young president would meet a grisly death that there seemed no way to reconcile it then, and even now. The country wept not only for its slain president, but also for its First Lady, Jackie, so youthful and beautiful in her black mourning dress and mantilla, walking head held high behind JFK's horse-drawn catafalque down Pennsylvania Avenue from the White House to the Capitol, giving Americans strength just by her existence.